part of what we're going to do today isn't just like the intense practice part of doing this, you know, that's not the goal, but it's to give you the education so that you can kind of do it on your own. Whether it's the acupressure, the massage, or the massage of hitting the bag. So, okay, so there's a whole process that we do with this, and for most of it you can be sitting for like the part with the massage and what we're doing and so forth, but then there are a couple exercises that if you want you can stand up and do them. We might have to, you know, make a little bit of room to do it. And then when we actually start to do this part of it where I show you how to do it's hitting, okay? Can't put it any other way than your hand is hitting the bags. You might either try and do it from like this type of thing with your chair just to kind of get the effect of it, or keep it on your knee and just kind of do it this way to get started. All right? So again, the main part of today is get the education on how to do it so you can set up some type of setup at your own home and do it the right way. So while we're sitting here, we got these bags, right? What the heck is in these things? So these are soybeans that are raw, okay? Don't cook them. So the idea with the bags, just like if we were doing the acupressure on the hands, is to hit those points. So you got how much surface area with, you know, hundreds of beans in there. Each one of them, when your hand would just touch it, it's going to touch a different spot of your hand with those acupressure meridians or the Jing Well points. So that is the goal. Whether we do it by massage or do it with hitting. These have, like I said, soybeans. I like to use mung beans. It advances up. You put chickpeas in there, garbanzo beans, right? Because it gives it a little bit more surface to hit your hands at those different angles. And then when you start doing it more at an advanced level, some people in the martial arts community, we start to do it with steel shot or rocks. You know, rocks and then steel shots, the higher level of doing it. So that's not even really relative to what we're doing right now, because you don't want to be a martial artist for that aspect of it, but the health benefits really is what we're focusing on right now. You want to be the martial arts, right? So if you do practice it at that level, even with this on some consistency after a few months, your hands become thicker. You'll see them turn red much quicker when you're doing any of your exercises. You had a question? Yeah, it's not that stable. You need something that's gonna stay. You don't want it to turn into powder because again you lose the surface area. Plus then it becomes dusty, and we really don't want the dust to be inhaled. Okay. Some herbs you do want to inhale them for your lungs, you know, but not for this purpose of doing that. So stable, you know, soybeans, mung beans, and then little pebbles, but that gets harder, and then, you know, it advances up. Chickpeas are good. But you'll start to figure this out as you do it, and then you'll get some instruction, you know, from the instructors too, like a couple months down the road. It's like, oh, I've been doing this. Is there something else I should be doing? Because it's not like a cut and dry thing. Like, let's do a bicep curl. Everybody can do that, right? Okay, you know what a bicep curl is after you do it a couple times. This, it's kind of like a work in progress of how you start to develop with it. So I don't know if any of you have seen my hands. I've been doing this since I was 16. All of these movements and exercises and that. The iron palm training and Jing Well massage started when I was about 18, and I've been doing it pretty much ever since. I take off sometimes a couple months at a time from doing it. I took off a few years when I had kids because it was just kind of time consuming for what I was trying to do. So, but now my hands look like I wash dishes for a living, you know, because it's not about making, you know, strength and calluses and that type of stuff. That's a whole different type of training that we're really not interested in right now, I don't think, right? Anybody want to walk around with hands that, you know, look like a boxer? No, that's it. So let's get back on track what we're doing. You got the bean bags, we got the herbs. If you have jewelry on right now, it might be a good idea to put that in your pocket or in a safer place, because when we start doing the massage, it can get in the way a little bit. But when we start to strike the bags and do that part of it, you definitely don't want to be damaging it. So I put my rings in my pocket. I put my wristwatch in my pocket because there's some of the acupressure goes up to the wrist. So where did the little bottle go? There it is. So you see, this is graphics that I put together. I've been doing all these booklets. Some of you have seen them, because I wanted to document all this information that's been in my head since I was 16. So here you go. We got nice little pictures of my hands doing it. So I'm going to kind of follow this set and explain what we're doing as we go along. What we're going to start off with is taking the bottle and shake it up a little bit, because there might be some solid matter in there. You want this, you know, mix in well. Let's try to not spill too much of it. Let's see how this works here. You take a few drops, hopefully not enough to spill, and we just start to massage that into the palms. This is probably the easier part, you know, just massage it in, get it in there. Front and back, into the fingers. And you can kind of decide how liberal you want to be with it. But once you start feeling the benefits of doing this, some of you, if you have arthritis or other, you know, issues with your hands, it's like after a couple times doing this massage, you're like, hey, this stuff kind of works, you know. My mom's 90 years old, and I finally talked her into this year using this on her knees and on her hands. And she was just totally blown away, like, why didn't I learn about this earlier? You know, it's like, you can't make people figure out stuff when they don't want to try it and learn something. So the biggest drawback that people have when they start doing this, the smell. Some people are just don't like that kind of smell. Because what's in these herbs, and I've done the research and I've learned the recipes to do these. I actually sell these and you know, distribute them for this type of exercise and training. Is usually there's a vodka, distilled, you know, it's pure in that sense. And then they put the herbs in there for anywhere from a few months to a few years to break down the components that are in the herbs that are actually supposed to help reduce the inflammation and improve the circulation. So it's all Chinese herbs. That's, you know, I could rattle off frankincense, myrrh, astragalus. I got the whole list of them. I can't remember off the top of my head. So we want to get that in hand. This particular recipe, I believe, is apple cider vinegar. And apple cider vinegar is traditionally a little healthier in some ways. If it's gonna, I'm sorry? Plum wine? Maybe. Usually it's been vodka or apple cider vinegar that we've chosen. The apple cider vinegar, I tell people to drink it a little bit at a time. You know, tablespoon a day is good for you. It's the same thing here. It's good for your skin. It's good for getting into the, you know, the fascia and all that. So everybody's hands are massaged. You should be doing it for a minute or so, right? So I like to stand up on this next one. You can do it sitting if you need to, and just let your hands slap together. And we're going to feel some tingling. You do about 50 of them. For today, 10 of them, you'll get the idea, right? So then if we stop, our hands should be red, right? Why are they red? Because we're causing trauma and the body sends signals there to increase the circulation, right? You can grab a seat again, right? So we get that tingling. That's kind of an important part when we start to go through the whole set. You want to squeeze enough that you feel a little discomfort and tingling so that the brain says, hey, it's time to remodel. It's time to send whatever chemical reactions need to go here to help fix the hands. Again, it's strategic trauma. If we close our hand in the door on the way out, it's going to be painful. It's going to hurt. And our brain's going to send the signal to inflame so that it cushions, right? So that process happens. It's just now we're trying to circumvent it. We're making the trauma, we're making the inflammation, and then we're using the herbs to keep circulation going. Pretty interesting, pretty phenomenal process that's been going on for thousands of years. So pretty neat stuff, I think. Okay, so the first one was clap. We're going to take our one hand. When we do one hand, this is like our pliers. So we're building some hand strength when we're squeezing with the one hand. The other hand's fairly relaxed. I go at the very base knuckle of my thumb. And as if I'm squeezing the blood all the way to the tip. It's going to grow red because you're squeezing the blood all the way to the tip. We do that about 3 times. So if your blood's moving, it means your energy's moving, right? The energy moves in the blood. So 3 times. That's just the nice number we put on doing these repetitions. Then we take the same exercise on the other hand. One hand's the pliers, developing strength. The other hand is relaxed. So if you really want to do this to the next step, we do our Qigong breathing as we're doing this. So you inhale through your nose, squeeze the tongue up to the roof of your mouth, right? And then as you squeeze, you feel that little pinch, that's your exhale. So then you get the benefit of slowing down your breathing rhythm, which again makes your brain think that you're relaxing and asleep and regenerating, right? So then we did the sides. The next one we go back to is the thumb, and we go on the top with the nail. We go along down to the thumbnail. So the first one was the sides, second was top and the bottom. So you know your nerves in your hands are mostly on the sides, right? And then you have muscle in your hands, but no muscle in the fingers. So there's all these different parts of your hand that are being exercised and worked with this massage. So the next one is going to be to go to, we did the clap, we did the sides, we did top and the bottom, the second knuckle. So we're counting up from the main knuckles, the big ones. That would be the first. The second one is this one right here. And we're going to, again, pinch, like you got a pair of pliers around the, circumference, I guess you call it, 3 times. And then you go on to the next finger. Just enough to feel the pressure. Some of you might feel like, that kind of hurts. Others, it's like, I don't feel much with it. So you got to squeeze. Make the blood move to that area. Activate the meridians. Then we do each finger. It's the second knuckle on each finger, 3 times. And then the second knuckle for the thumb, first one's here at the wrist. Second knuckle is here. So again, we work around that. So, at the very least when you do this, you sit down and you're relaxing, and it's slowing you down. It's putting you in the moment. If that's the very least you get from it, is to slow down for 5 to 10 minutes to do this, then that's a good thing, because you're already doing, kind of like a meditation and doing the exercises. Plus now you're doing the massage, getting the energy moving. All right? So then hopefully you did both hands. Work our way down. And the idea is to do this as much as you can. Once a day, every day of the week, 3 times a week, as much as you can do it. Last year I did it, I think, 3 days a week. I was doing it every other day. And that was my schedule for the year. I just did it. And then I felt my sinuses were better because I have allergies. Didn't have problems with sinuses for the year. Sometimes I got headaches from sinus issues, with the pollen in that. Wasn't as bad. Was that directly relative to that? I don't know, because I do all the other stuff too. The 8 vessels and the 8 pieces of, because I do it all. But this, I seem to feel like it had more of a connection. So each part of the hand, other than the Jing Well points, reflexology is the mapping of the hands, right? So you can look at each one of these as the meridian. We got the heart and the small intestine here, right? And we got the triple worm around this finger. Well, you also got, when we're doing this, you got the fingertips are representative of your eyes and your brain. You work your way down, the palm is organs. So that's why we're going to work all the way through this. So one way or another, you're doing like a full body massage through your hands. All right? So the next one, we moved on from the second knuckle. We go to the thumbs. What you're going to do is take your thumbs and make them go perpendicular. You know what that is? One's here, one's that way. And we're trying to take one of the thumbnails to kind of make a divot in the tip of the other thumb. And that should be a little discomforting, okay? And then you release. You do that 3 times. Push in. Kind of like if I was pushing my thumb at you this way, and you poked it with a needle right at the very top. And what I'm using is my other thumb to make that needle. So only one side, you can't do both, it's not going to hurt both the thumbs. It's going to be one thumbnail pushing into the other one. And you did it right because when you take it away, you'll see there's a straight up and down divot. And then again, you'll know you did it right if it pinches a little bit.
This way, not this way.
I don't know, can you see that? They're perpendicular. So what I can do on any of these, if you really need a little help, I can come over and find that spot on your hand. But like I said, I've been doing this for a while, so I will touch it pretty acutely. Yeah. I'm sure when Master Leone touches your body, he knows where it's at, right? Yeah, so we're going to go right there. 3 times with a breath with each one. Anybody else need a little help with that one, or you think you got it? You're close.
This is vertical.
Yep.
That's what I was.
So that's the spot. You feel that a little bit?
Yep.
You needed help? So you got the spot. I didn't see the divot though. You feel that a little bit?
So it's going this way.
Straight up and down, perpendicular to the nail. There you go.
Yeah, see, perpendicular. Okay, I love geometry.
Yeah. So it would be like that.
Okay. So
You see the divot?
Yeah.
So here's what it should feel like.
Okay.
Let me grab it real quick.
Yeah, that's
I'll get you in a
impressive.
second.
Oh,
You
yeah.
feel that?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I gotta do this one now. Yeah.
That's the spot. Okay? I think we were going to email this to all of you in a PDF file. Okay? Because I try to do it by memory. I glanced at it just to make sure, but this is a whole booklet that I did. It's all about how this all works with the other, massage. There's stuff for your feet. So you got the reflexology part. That was like, the fingertips with the eyes and the brain and so forth and the organs here. And then you have, like we're doing Jing Well, that's individual meridians for each finger, right? And then you have a Korean version of the hands also. And what that is each finger is a limb. So my little finger would be like my leg, my right leg. My thumb would be my left leg. My index finger would be my left arm. Ring finger would be my right arm. The center is the head all the way down to the lower back. That's the middle finger. And then the organs are the center from the middle finger to the wrist. So that's the Korean system of the hand massage. So again, it doesn't really matter which one. 5-element meridians, Japanese reflexology, or the Korean mapping. It's different theories, but it's still the same idea with it. Okay? So now what did we leave off on? Thumbs, right? We did the pinching there. So the next one is find the big knuckle, the main knuckle. And again, here's your pliers. This hand should be getting a workout. This hand's kind of relaxed. You're going to massage the front and back knuckles. This is the knuckle everybody knows because you see it, like you make a fist, you punch. The knuckle on this side, most people don't feel that. So we're trying to massage front and back and then move on to the next one again. And sometimes for me, that one feels like, it really hurts a little bit, but feels good to do it. And whenever you feel that, that's usually a reflection, again, of some part of your body that has something going on. It's out of balance. And it's the same with the ear. Anybody know about the ears? Auricular therapy? The ear has the same map that your hands does. So you can massage parts of your ear and then you feel it, that spot's like really tense. Like when your parents, you're all in this generation that, my parents did that a couple times. I think you guys might have been some of the people either doing it or getting it done too, right? So why does one area hurt more than others? Because again, it connects by another part of your body. The feet, it's the same thing. You can put a golf ball under it and roll it around, and you find the spot, and it's like, what's that spot? Find the map in these books or online, you'll find them, and it's like, that's my neck. I feel my neck. So anyway, I think you get the idea. So hopefully you did both hands. The main knuckle that you feel that, again, people don't realize is this one. The base knuckle of your thumb is right by your wrist here. So you do that one, again, front and back. And that one, for me, I feel it especially because, again, that could be the hips or the lower back area because of where the location is. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll take my knuckle. So I'm not just using the fingertip to fingertip, I'm using the knuckle. And I get more pressure with that. Again, it's that hurt, but it's a release. It feels good because it releases. It's like you got to work it out. Like when you get that neck massage and it hurts, but then you get it worked out. So that's what that one is. I feel that a lot. Then from there we go on to the center of the palm. This part right here is part of an exercise where we twist, but that's just for reference right now. You start from here and then find the middle of your palm at the base of the wrist. And what I'm going to do is kind of dig in towards the center of the palm. You see how the fingers have a tendency to kind of relax and curve in? It's from the pressure I'm putting on my thumb. That, again, that's the whole internals. That path from the heel of your palm up to the base knuckle is all the internal organs in one line. Or your stomach, if you follow just the Japanese reflexology chart. Pretty cool. If you look at the charts and see how it all works out, what works, what parts where. So then from there we go on to the wrist. That's the next exercise. So this is like you're wringing out a towel. You use the one hand again to pinch. The hand that's being squished, you relax. And like you're just wringing out that wrist. And sometimes you'll feel the wrist bones separate from the two bones in your forearm, kind of like they're stretching out a little bit. And again, that's the goal. A little bit of stretch, a little bit of discomfort. And then same thing on the other side. So far we haven't done any hitting. We haven't done any martial type of aspect, but we're getting this great little hand massage, right? This part I find very, very relaxing for me. Like I said, you sit down, you do the breathing, you do the massage. All right, the next one. So here's where it starts to get fun. These are stretches that put a bit more tension on the wrist. So I'm going to turn and give you a different perspective here. So if I started with my hand out this way, and then I rotate so the thumb is down, my little finger is up, I'm going to take my thumb and try to grab into my palm. The fingers go on the back and help the wrist turn. So as much as possible, I'm trying not to touch my wrist because that's the area that I want to bend. And I pull it back. Some of you will not like this. Your wrist will not feel good doing this. So again, I'm here. I try and turn, relax your shoulder, put the thumb in the center, and then try to keep your arm level. Some of you might get to right here. It'll be excruciating, and then that's it. That's as far as you go. Others will be able to come all the way back to your chin, and then fingers up, and then elbow drop. Like I said, I started when I was 16, so I maintain the flexibility from doing this, okay? If it doesn't work, if it doesn't go, you're not going to break your own wrist, not snap, you know. It's like, oh my gosh, I snapped my wrist. That will not happen because your brain will not allow it to happen. You'll let go. But it could be like, oh, that's sharp, that hurts. Why are you making me do this? So that's where you decide how far your comfort level is. But again, if that's very painful and pinching, that's an indication that there's probably something else connected to that. The wrists have a lot to do with this area. The intestines, the lower back rectum, hemorrhoids, that's the wrist. So good to keep that flexible. Hopefully everybody again did both sides, right? See, you get so caught up on doing this. It's about 3, but some of the numbers will say 10. More is better. You got to turn the other way. It's got to go thumb down, and then palm all the way upside down, and then here. So you make an S. It's a backwards S, depending upon which way you're facing. All right? The other hand would have been here, thumb down, turn over, thumb in the center. Right about here is where you start to feel it, that little twist right there. Again, some of you, more or less, you're going to feel whatever. And then again here, if you can do there, then it's up with the fingers. And then if you can do that, then it's drop the elbow slightly. So some of you might feel it in the hand and the wrist. In the hand, from where you're grabbing, in the wrist, in the elbow, in the shoulder. Because again, it's all connected. So by doing this, that's working that whole muscle region, fascia region, the nervous system, the nerves that are going through it. It's all connected. Now, I see you on the videos all the time, and you like to help be demonstrated on, right? So, do you know what a cross wrist grab looks like? Yeah. You ever seen that before? Yep. And that was demonstrated, I think, in one of the Bagua classes last week. Here's the S shape, the wrist, the forearm, and the shoulder. Now, you see my hand, it's in a wrist, an S shape also. So they complement each other. His will be the pain from being twisted. Mine will be the strength from wrapping into his wrist. That's a break movement, okay? Again, not that you need to learn the self-defense. It just puts it in perspective of what you're trying to twist, okay? So we got to keep moving on. So that was that direction. The next one is to go this direction. I know the picture, it's a little hard to tell what's going on, but that's what it is right there. We're right here. That one's pinky is up. This one is the pinky is up, but your hand is twisted. So I take my thumb, spiraling, put the thumb by the base knuckle of your pinky finger. And then the fingers wrap, and then I twist. So if you're looking at it from the front here, this is the movement kind of here, and then twist. This look familiar? These movements? you've seen this part before. So that's the drilling. This is the additional twist. So I try to bend it towards me, and then to the side, and then to the side here. Then back off. Some of you are thinking, why am I putting myself through all this pain? That is the objective. The strategic trauma of this pain is increasing the blood flow and the energy flow. So that's the goal. Okay? If you're feeling it, that's what we want.
So this is tendon strengthening and stretching, which would be appropriate in the springtime mostly? Or
This is connected to the water element because it's got the bones. When we start doing that, the bones are actually being vibrated. The bones are being manipulated. So again, 5 elements, there's some interpretation of how it is, but it's kind of in the water category. So you'd be doing it more towards the winter time. Yeah, you can, this you can do all year round. The actual hitting part, that's kind of geared towards the water element time of the year. But yeah, you can do this anytime, okay? Did everybody do both sides? You need a little help getting there? Drilling, thumb to the back side of the knuckle on the pinky finger. Other fingers kind of wrap. So this comes in, so I'm pushing to help that twist and drill. So I come in towards my face, and then I twist it out to the side. And then the arm goes. So extra credit for some of you that are, pursuing this further and you want to try it, you push your elbow towards your ribs. And that gives you a stable foundation, and you still can pull in and twist. But the tension, or the torsion goes right to the wrist from there. So again, can you stand up for a moment? This is this type of a movement right here. Wrist, elbow, shoulder, which will connect all the way down to his lower body if the whole technique is, you go down and your wrist is broken and your shoulder's dislocated. So again, I don't want to scare anybody away, martial stuff, but if somebody was to twist your arm, or say you're opening up the door and it's a windy day and the door caught with the wind and you were holding on to it and all of a sudden your arm went, like that. Your arm would maybe be a little more flexible or a little better strength. You would have more strength if you found your hand in that type of a position.
Next time I do a light bulb? Oh, man. Yeah. There you go. Practical application.
All right. So then the next one, we did the wrist this way. We did the wrist that way. The next one, you use your knuckles, again, like a pair of pliers, to squeeze the side of the nail. So the Jing Well points on the nails are mostly at the base, away from the nail tip, and at the base, the sides, right there. So like a centimeter away from the tip, right? Because that's where your nail's usually. So what I do is I use the other fingers like a pair of pliers, and I rotate like 2 or 3 times, and then I kind of pop 2 or 3 times, and you'll feel it and you'll hear it pop. If you don't get it as good, then that's fine. You got to work on it. But again, feel that little discomfort, and then pop. So what that one is, again, it's the brain, the eyes, but guess what? That helps if someone's unconscious. I've had people pass out over the years from this and other things, or being out somewhere and someone gets lightheaded because they didn't eat. My daughter had a blood test 2 weeks ago. They drew blood and she passed out. And I started doing this, and it wakes you up. So these points are directly connected to your consciousness, where it'll wake you up. Kind of neat, right? So now you learn another little thing. It's like first aid. Each finger, pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb. Each one of them. I got to about 3 of them. Yeah. And then, I don't know if any of you else have learned this one, is knocks you out, puts you out. You strike somebody, it'll take someone out, they lose consciousness. If they lost consciousness, they passed out, they fainted, you rub it and that wakes them up. That's not really part of this set, but again, it's acupressure for stimulating the blood flow and the energy. So that one will wake you up. I've used that one many times. Used that on my 90-year-old mother when she was much younger, because my father went in for surgery, and as soon as they went in, the doors closed. It's kind of traumatic, she passed out. So I caught her, grabbed her arm right here, and eased her to the ground, and then I did this. Fingers, and then the massage. This is the one that woke her up. And my sister, my older sister, didn't know I was doing all this stuff to this level, and she was like this. Like, what just happened, you know? She fainted. I did a couple of massage points, and my mom woke up. And her arm the next day was totally black and blue. So that, you know, you develop a certain amount of hand strength, like I'm saying, from doing this, because you're doing the massage. One hand's getting stronger, the other hand's doing the manipulation. So her, you know, because of her age too, the circulation's not as good, but whew, I grabbed her and that's instant, you know, like vice grips. So kind of cool, right? In case you didn't figure this out, I really get into this stuff. I enjoy it. So then what did we just do? We did the pinching. Where can we do next? Next one, I kind of call it crab fingers. So see what you can do. You try to cross. Let's do one hand at a time. That's a little bit easier. Index finger is covered by your middle finger. Just try to cross them. And then you take your ring finger and you try to cross it however far you can. Sometimes people only can get it to like overlap, but really want to get it past the knuckle. And then it's the little finger, and you go past the knuckle. Anybody's fingertips turning red?
Yeah.
Why? You're cutting off the circulation, the blood is getting stuck in the fingertips, the energy's being drawn there. You let them go, the color changes again. So again, some of this stuff, it's just like basic principles, you know, it's like physics. You cut off circulation, you let circulation go. Turn on a valve, turn the valve off, right? Turn on the kitchen sink faucet, and you turn it off. So you gotta do the other side too. So if you can, I don't wanna just cross at the fingertip. You know, that's an attack, right? Because you have more strength if the fingers are moving as one, right? Keep going, the self-defense stuff creep in there. So if you can, you try to cross it farther up. Farther up towards, instead of just at the tip, you try to bring it closer to the first or second knuckle. So once again, some of you will find this like nothing, no problem. Others, it'll be excruciating and you can't get there. Again, that's kind of your goal should be to be able to do these where you feel comfortable doing it, but you can still feel that sensation that there's, you know, a little pain or discomfort. Now, if you're a little bit more involved, you do both fingers, both hands, both sets of fingers, that is. To get out of it, I just relax them and let them go. If you need to undo them, then you gotta use your fingers. All right? So I call that one like crab fingers for some reason. That's what works with that. So then we come back to the next one, again, clapping. You can do it sitting down or standing if you want. Let the arms fall. Let the gravity help you. Okay, so again, you get up to about 50. I just want to keep moving along. You get the idea. So these next two are the Jing Well points. Again, you got them on the sides of the cuticles for the most part. But if we tap with the fingers of one hand and I hit those points, just try for the fingertip. With any of the hand, either of any of the fingers that hit, that's fine, but I just want to hit that one pinky finger. And then I want to hit the ring finger, and then the middle finger, index finger, thumb. Thumb is the easiest one to hit on the lung, just because of the position where your thumb is. You just tap, ooh, right away. But if you want to turn your hand a little bit and get the tip, it's fine too. Same idea. And then the same thing on the other hand. Does anybody feel that? Is that a little bit discomforting? So that one will wake you up too if you're the one that feels faint. You know, I mean, you can do your own fingers with the pinch because you're feeling a little faint or nauseous, but you can do this one. It's like, okay, that one will wake you up. Then the last one in this set for this part is to overlap the hands this way, and then they slap one another. Guaranteed to get your hands turning red and tingling. So that tingling that you're feeling right now, again, that's your energy moving. That's the nervous system reacting to trauma. But we're strategically doing it. We're not just putting our hand on the table and saying, here, hit it with a hammer, and then calcifies and gets solid, and then it heals into a big mass of just calcium. No, that's not the strategic trauma we're looking for. Very, very specific on how we're doing this. So now would be a good time to grab your juice, also called dit, da jiao. That's the Chinese term for it. And it translates to fall and hit. Fall down and hit wine, I think it is. Because they would also, like you said, use the plum rice, plum wine. And, you know, if you're not drinking it, you're using it to ferment with. You're using it for your herbs. So you're using this to reduce whatever swelling you might have just incurred from doing that, and then to, again, promote the circulation with it. All right, so if you can find a safe place to put this and put the lid back on there. So how are we looking for time? We're supposed to go till 7:30, I thought? Yeah. So I think we're doing fantastic. Does anybody have any questions so far up to this point? Yes?
That waking people up, will that work with a type 1 diabetic that gets a low sugar?
I don't know. I don't know if it won't hurt them. Okay, you know, sometimes you come across something like that, and it's like, okay, person just fainted, nobody's around, nobody's there to help you. What do? That's the time to do that and rub that point. You know, it's like, what are you going to do? So, specifically towards someone being a diabetic, that's probably a better question to ask Giulione. He might know for sure. My mom's not a diabetic, but she's 90. She did it. I did it when she was about 75, and it worked. So. And then there's probably, 50 other people I've done it over the years, all different age groups and whatever. My daughter's 17, worked fine for her. So.
In healthcare, we do the sternum.
Yeah, the sternum one. And then they wake up, I stop that, it hurts. So, there's a whole series of Okay, so in this booklet, I don't have it available as of yet because I'm not quite sure what we're doing with it. It might be part of the programs, it might be a resource for whatever level. But part of it, there's life-saving acupressure and acupuncture. And it's what to do. Like, you don't know how to do CPR. You're in the middle of nowhere. You're somewhere there's no help. And, this one is really, just do that one. If you have no other course of action, do that one. But there's other ones up and down the center line that you could do. And there's other techniques. Again, for another day, that's not for today, but the main idea is that there's so much knowledge with all these points and techniques and stuff that it's pretty vast, that you can gain a lot of benefit from knowing one or two things from it. So this is the one. Someone passes out, massage that one first, and then do the fingertips. So that one works. Yeah, a little bit sideways and up. That's the way. Sideways and a little bit up. And that usually wakes somebody up if they just passed out. All right? So, any other questions before we go on to the next thing? So, yes?
Should we do these hand exercises even if you have arthritis in it?
Definitely.
What was the question?
If you have arthritis, to do them? Okay, so at the very least, you'll be massaging and getting the blood flow to increase some range of motion, okay? Arthritis, I don't know, once it's already set in, I'm not sure how much you can break it down from doing just the massage. But in combination with the herbs and doing that, the herbs increase the blood flow, which usually helps circulation, the energy. So your arthritis, technically, it should improve from that. I've known people over the years, yes, it's bad shoulder, bad neck, whatever, they just use that. I have recipes, there's places you can buy it online. Master Leone has access to it. You can make your own. It's up to you, kind of, how much do you want to get into doing it? The same thing with the bags. I said you can make your own. The ones we're giving you today to use, it's kind of a minimal amount of beans that are in there. You really want to get it, maybe double that. But just for today, just for the purpose of having it, kind of gets you in the ballpark. But yeah, did the job with arthritis, definitely.
Do you recommend doing these in that order, or can you do them like
You try to. You try to do them in that order because there is some method to how the meridians connect with what you're doing. We've been known to simplify them sometimes when you have more of a purpose of what you're doing. Like, okay, let's focus on these today. Just that part because it does do a lot in the wrist joint. You feel it a lot. I would try to do them in the order and try and do the whole set if you can. And really, you can run through it. It really takes 5 minutes once you start doing it. It doesn't take long at all once you've learned how to do it. Okay?
you're going to avoid the ones, well, not avoid them, but you're not going to want to do the ones that hurt the most, which is
Yeah, but you know, those are the ones you should do the most because those are the ones that are telling you that something's out of balance. So, you know, knowledge is a dangerous thing. You know, sometimes you don't want to know what you find out. And it's like, oh, you know, this part of my hand really hurts. What is that? And then you find out, you know, it's like, oh, I got stomach issues. I got an ulcer or something because that part of my hand is really bothering me. Well, now you have the knowledge to do something about it, you know. So you can take it to that level or you can just massage my hands and it feels good. So, okay, so the next thing, the bottom number 16, it says hand circulation exercises.
That's all right.
Oh, what was it?
I just wanted to know about the sequence. Are we going to have that downloaded somewhere, or?
At the very least, you're going to get this page and the page before it, which is the explanation of how we're doing the hitting and things like that. Because there's some qigong that goes along with that part too. So at the very least, we're going to try to get those 2 pages to you. We were supposed to, again, try to get today. It didn't come together. So the whole booklet, I have a couple copies of it if anybody wants to see it on the way out. It's pretty cool, you know. I made it at school, right? I like it. This is what I do, you know. I started documenting these things years ago, and then the software got better, and I started doing the graphics, and it was like, well, either I can sell it and people will want it, or I'll document it, and down the road when people figure out how much of a treasure this is, it'll be used for something down the road. And my kids will have it, and wow, Dad made all these volumes of books of all this exercise that people can be better from doing. You know, it's just a tremendous amount of knowledge that's available with it. So make sure you ask though, again, before tonight if you can see it, or how do we can get that PDF to everybody. Okay, that was you. So the last part, number 16, hand circulation exercises. There's a variety of these. The one I'm going to start with is going to be here. You might want to stand or move a little bit apart. So picture you have your hands in some water and you forgot your towel and you want to flick the water onto the ground. So again, this would be like inhale, exhale. Preferably all through your nose, tongue up, tongue down. So with any of these exercises, you want to be as relaxed as possible so as to get the blood and the energy to flow to your hands. Now if that's all good, lift your heels slightly, let them drop, but not hard. So what you're doing is you're getting some kinetic energy here. Arch your back and round your back a little bit. Okay, so that's the first one in that set. I'll show you the next one, but you can't do it because there's not enough room here. We come in this way, like we're holding on to 2 big bags of groceries. We throw the hands out and we bring them back real loose. Okay? Real loose, throw them out, and they come back faster than they went out. So again, it's throwing the circulation of the fingertips, right? Arch the back and you round the back. So just like all those other exercises and these 2 exercises, it's all about getting the blood and the oxygen to the hands so now that we can go to do this part. Okay? You don't do what we just did now and then do that. You do that with the herbs. We do some of this, and then we're going to do a couple qigong exercise, breathing movements and focus, and then we do that part. And when we're done with that, we come back to that with the massage, and then we close it up. All right? So from start to finish, once you start doing it on your own, it could be about 15 minutes to a half hour. Just doing this part. Okay? So, okay. The next, I can't really show you because the amount of, I'll show it and demonstrate, but you really can't do it. So the next exercise would be to come across and throw your hand to the wall. Come across. So again, there's that water, like I dipped my hand in water, flick the water onto the wall. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So it's a scoop, throw it away. Scoop, throw it away. Anybody know what the Tai Chi silk reeling exercises are? You ever do those? Well, there's your twisting of the torso and the midsection, all the connective tissue, and throw it away. Inhale, exhale. So what that evolves into is this. Ever seen that before? So you can all grab a seat. So when I was doing this part, started with the hands, and then I got the spine, and then I got the heels. That is your kinetic linking. a chain or a whip. The hand at the whip moves at whatever speed. By the time it ends up, it's going 10 times faster, right? Kinetic energy. And that's how you get power, okay? You get a small person can defend themselves against a big person. Someone can lift up a car that fell on somebody. They have the energy, they get their chi, and everything connects, and they use the whole body to lift it up. So we just did it with the arms, doing that, and that's what this was. You're linking everything together. So again, getting the blood and the energy to here. So I'm going to explain what we're doing here. If we were standing up, you would be in somewhat of a horse stance like this. Okay, hands are going to be at the side. From right here, we're going to look up first, our eyes. Eyes are connected to what? The liver. So we start a reaction, chemistry change with looking up, stretching the eyes up. The eyes go down. Head doesn't move. And then I look all the way to the left. I look all the way to the right. So with each of those, there's the deep breath. Remember about the microcosmic circulation and breathing from the back all the way up? So looking up, you breathe in, tongue goes up. And breathe out, tongue goes down. Look down, just the eyes, head stays straight. Same thing, breathe deep. Look to the left. Look to the right. All right? So the liver's connected in this whole process also. Good exercise just to do on your own, even besides all this stuff. You're sitting on a plane. Do some eye stretches, do some qigong with it. So what I'm going to try to accomplish now, I got one bean bag here, and then I got a whole selection of these other ones. I thought I was short one bag. So the idea is to be very loose with my right hand, and I'm going to bring it down to where the bag is. Why don't I just do it how you're going to do it? So I'm here, and I'm trying to just bring the hand down. The very last part, it turns over. So we get a little bit of centrifugal force with this turn. So again, we're just going to do the palm side. Hand up, hand down. So what you're going to start to feel as you do this, you can do it on your own a few times, you're going to start tightening your neck and your shoulder because you're going to want to hit it. Because I'm telling you, you got to feel that little bit of sting. We don't want to tighten the neck or the shoulder. So it's free falling. My arm weighs, I don't know, 15 pounds maybe? I don't know, I never cut it off and weighed it, but you kind of get the idea, right? If my arm was totally dead weight and I just let it free fall, then it would sting, and it would be like 15 pounds of weight hitting and stinging. It would sting my thigh if I didn't have the bag there, but you get the idea, right? So you should feel kind of like that pins and needles kind of thing, because all the beans hitting in a different spot. So hopefully you've all done it maybe about 10 times or so, right? So the idea would now be, this is not the best setup for it, but again, we're working what we have, okay? A bar stool that's about navel high is a preferred method. You could do a countertop on your patio. Whatever works. You could do a chair and put a box on it. Whatever works. Ideally, you do a light horse stance. Got to be a little bit bent. Don't want to just stand up and do this, because we want to activate, the meridians, the vessels, the muscles, to be at least a little bit bent. So I have my hand at my hip, and I let this free fall. The last part, it turns in. So that gets us just doing one side. So if I was doing it at this level, I would have to be right here. Hand drops. You gotta make it in the right spot, and turns over. So that's just doing one side. So what's gonna happen after a few, your legs are gonna start feeling it. And again, there's gonna be pressurized. Everybody knows about pressurizing the Chung Mai. You heard about burning the Chung Mai? Have you ever heard that term? Yeah, burning pressurized. So when you're putting your body under tension, the muscles have the tension, but the meridians are what, either the energy's flowing or the energy's not flowing, right? So we're pressurizing everything so those 8 vessels fill up. So with me just standing like this and hitting, the arm is being activated, those meridians are being activated, all those channels, all those vessels are being activated. So you don't have to be right here. This isn't the best. A little bit bent, but then wherever your comfort level as you drop from there. And if some of you have, health issues where you just can't do that, then find a chair, a table, put this on the table, and let it drop. All right, so we're doing just the one side. The next part would be to turn it over. So if I hit with the palm, then I bring it up, and then it'll be the same idea coming down. The last 2 inches, I turn it over the other way. So it's palm up, palm down. Lift it up. Then you get the back side. Lift it up, hit the palm. Lift it up, hit the back of the palm. So it's flopping all over the place. This isn't the comfort way where your leg is holding it flat. Again, understand the idea of what we're trying to do with it, so you'll be able to do it on your own. Now look when you hit. I'm trying to do this here. I want the whole surface of the hand to hit. I don't want to be like sideways. There are some other techniques where you do hit the sides of your hand, or you use your fingertips. Using this side, like what we did with the twist. There's all different contortionist ways to hit to develop either strength, flexibility, or that energy flow. When you're practicing it, try to get flat with the fingers slightly apart. When you hit it on the other side, make sure that the fingers make contact. Because what your natural tendency is going to be as you start to do this, and it stings a little bit, you're going to start cupping your hand like this. And you'll end up just hitting this surface. And we want the fingers to hit too. So you'll drop it, it'll turn over. You can even exaggerate that last little part of making sure your fingers flatten into it. Everybody following this so far? Is this all making sense? So, I try to give you enough of, a martial aspect of it, so you can see that there's a little bit of, there's a little bit of force behind it, but it's very relaxed. And it gives you the vision of if you were to strike something or somebody, that is what the potential is to doing it. But again, that is not our goal. So you don't have to go home and tell somebody, your family or whoever, and say, yeah, I learned this stuff. We were hitting a bag and I'm going to crack somebody in the head with. No. You're learning massage, acupressure massage, Jing Well massage, and strategic trauma to increase the circulation of those Jing Well points. That's really the goal of it. And if your hands get stronger in the process of doing it, that's a side effect. That's a benefit of doing it. All right? So again, not really the way that you're going to do it here because of the way our room is set up. Yes?
You're doing the back of your hand. Is your thumb making first?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. You have to really make an effort to make it flatten out. And what else will happen, so there's going to, okay, you guys go back to whatever your schedule is in your life, and you're going to try and do this, and you're going to go, wow, I got so many questions. I don't know. Well, you'll be able to follow the sheet a little bit, and that'll help, right? So then you'll see like, oh, I don't remember if my hand should be here or should be there. So those are the questions you're going to have to ask the instructors that are here. But you see how, let's see where the chair is at here. So if, again, I was doing this myself and I would drop into this position here, I really don't want it to be just perfectly in the center of my body, because the way the angle is going to be, that's going to maybe strain a little bit on some of your shoulder, and you'll end up tightening. So again, we don't want to tighten. So really, ideally, it should be a little bit out in front of your shoulder. So the alignment is in front of the shoulder, not necessarily in front of your nose. Okay? Because the way we would do this too, we would have two bags set up. We would do both hands at the same time. And you can try that too. Go out and buy another bag and do it. You can do that, and you do both sides simultaneously. But for the way, again, we're doing it now, you would just move it over, and then you would do the other hand. How many do we do? Well, you got to start off with 5,000, or else you're not doing it perfect, right? No, you do like sets for, I would say for all of you trying it, try like 10. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 10, and then grab your little bottle of herb, go over to the side. You do both hands, switch off to the other side. Rub it in again. Go back to doing this for maybe about 10. Do maybe 10 of these. And then go and do another set of 10. So the first time you do it, maybe the total amount that you would do would be like 25, 30, just so you kind of get the feel for how your body reacts to it. Because there's a very good possibility when you do this the next day, you have one little red spot on one part of your hand somewhere. It'll be a little tender. And you go, oh wow, I did something. It's probably just a bruise that came from doing this. Grab the massage herbs and put it in there, and you'll notice in a day or so it might be completely gone. I was traveling out of town one time and I hit myself in the forehead. We had just put a new light in our bathroom. We had our bathroom redone, and a pendant light. I didn't realize how close to the sink it was. So I smacked my head on it, and then I stood up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't believe I just did that. So I had this, like instant divot on my head. By the time I was getting ready to head out to the airport, I had a bruise. So I grabbed a little bit of this, and I put on a Band-Aid, I put it on there, and I flew for where I was going, a couple-hour flight, got to the destination, pulled the Band-Aid off, and there was no bruise. I was like, cool, It works, So you put it on your finger, you put it on something, you do not drink it. Do not put it anywhere near your nose or your mouth. You don't drink it, all right? Some herbs you can do that, you drink them and that, but for all this, with the purpose of what we're doing, it's all external. So the formula we're using, it's called Jiao, fall down wine, but it's even more specific that the recipe is for this, which is called iron palm. There's also iron body, where you would use those other things and you would hit other parts of your body, kind of like the bone marrow exercise things we were doing a little bit earlier. Anybody have any questions so far on any of this?
Is the recipe on there?
No. The recipes, actually there's another booklet. I don't know, again, what level you're at with it, but I put a booklet that had a whole bunch of the ingredients, and you could just wing it that way, but I prefer either you purchase it or you buy the ingredients from a couple of the companies that we work with, and you go to this grocery store, you get a mason jar, you get some of the apple cider vinegar, and you put the ingredients that come from the company, and it's like, oh, they do it. It's good stuff. I've used it for quite a while. So, or you go to Chinatown, wherever you're at. There's sometimes the Chinese grocery stores, and you can give them a little list of stuff, and then that's kind of awkward sometimes. It's like I got to figure out which ones are which and stuff. So just order it, either the kit to put together or order it ready to go. That's usually the best way to do it. But if you want to know, there's recipes. There's like one of the booklets, it's just an ingredient. It's just all the ingredients and kind of what they do. Like frankincense, that helps reduce inflammation.
And where would we order it from?
There's a bunch of resource stuff on, most of you are hooked up with the online stuff where you can go and there's resources and there's some videos, the live classes, and there's charts and other booklets and stuff that's in there. It's one of the, I think it says Jiao recipes or something.
How is that spelled?
D-I-T-G-A or J-A, D-I-T-D-A-J-O-W, Jiao. D-I-T-D-A-J-O-W.
Dale Dugas?
I'm sorry?
Do you know Dale Dugas?
Yes. He's a person that I buy. There's East West. I don't know if it's just eastwest.com. There's Plum Dragon. There's the one he uses. I don't know what the name of that one is. So it's out there. You just need to ask if you're interested in going further with doing it. Who else? Did you have a question back there? You raised your hand a few times.
Yeah. Are you breathing?
Are you breathing?
Yeah, how are you breathing?
At the very least, in through your nose, out through your nose with the mouth closed. Tongue up, tongue down. If you want to do more, the microcosmic small circuit, right? So any of those are fine, but just make sure you are closing your mouth and breathing in and out as you do it. Breathe out at the point of impact. When you're doing all these, it's the same thing. Either just breathe regular, small circuit, okay? Or even more precise, think of that area. Think of the breath going towards the hand, towards the knuckle, towards the palm as you're doing the breathing. All right? Same idea, just different method to do it. So usually when you slam your finger with a hammer, you're thinking about your finger or your thumb. It's like, that really hurt. And you massage, it hurts. You're putting the energy going there anyway because you're thinking of it. So any other questions? If not, any then you're welcome to try, if you want to come up and do it. I don't know if that table will not handle it back there. So, you know, we set this up and we talked about it quite a bit, how we were going to do it. And there was like really no good way to do it where everybody could actually try and do the hitting movements in a group setting. So this is kind of how we came up with it, was, you know, explain it, give you the instructions, give you the, you know, the method and the tools to be able to do it. And hopefully, you know, you can follow up and ask us more questions on how to do it that way. So other than that, you know, you could do this, turn around in your chair, sit down on one leg. You know, this probably isn't the most comfortable way for most of you folks. So, you know, let's not do it that way, you know. Does anybody else have any questions? Yes? Yeah, it's not really the best way to do it because, again, your legs are crossed up and you're not really in that position. So we like to do it horse stance, light horse stance. That turns into dropping in horse stance. That turns into shifting. So again, you're getting some kinetic energy moving with it as you're dropping. Kinetic or gravity, I don't know what you want to call it. And then that turns into the bagua stance. You would do it from here, where it's just dropping and hitting, or so it's either just the arm or it's the body and the arm. You can see there's going to be more momentum as you're doing that. So just the arm or the body and the arm. The body shifting. And then there's also kind of like take a jump. If we had a circular table type setup or a square, I would hit and drop, hit and drop, hit and drop. So again, some of you that have knee issues, back issues, neck issues, no, that's probably not that. But just to give you a range of, you know, like I said, knowledge is dangerous sometimes, right? It's good to know what you can do. It's good to know what you shouldn't do too, okay? So, yeah, just because I'm demonstrating or talking about it doesn't mean you need to try and do that. But to have the understanding that, oh, that's there, you know, maybe I'll be able to do that sometime. Maybe I don't want to do that sometime. You know, it's just, again, it's information, it's knowledge. What you do with it, good or bad, kind of is your choice. So, any questions? Otherwise, we'll run through this set again. What's that?
Is there an equivalent protocol for feet?
Not that we've done with this yet. There is, there's a set that's in this booklet too. So again, some of this, I've been doing it for years. It's a training. I've been doing the booklets for years. We're just not quite sure how we're going to put the information out with it. So there's a set that's like the 8 vessel set that we did. There's nothing in here to really, can I have those 2 foam things you got? So we would practice like the 8 vessels with a weighted ball. So it's got some weight to it. And with that set, you start to build up a certain amount of tension in your body from holding the weight. It's not even it's got to be heavy, but it's that you're moving in those positions with it. And when you get done with it, it's like, oh, I'm a little stiff, a little pumped up kind of. So the set of movements that you do with that, there's massage on your back and on the back of your legs and then down to the feet and in between the toes and the toe tips. So it's the same idea. It's just a different practice for what's accomplished with it. So we don't do like, you know, you're not going to do this, you know. It doesn't translate the same way like the hand movement. We're not going to do the foot movement on the bags. So, but, you know, I'm joking, obviously. But, you know, there's different methods for different practices in doing it. So I don't know if you've seen Master Leone demonstrate sometimes like the big water bottles. He brings those out. That's kind of like all that same family. And again, that's kind of in this whole package of exercises that you're practicing something that's putting tension on the whole body at the same time. And when that all happens, it's like this, you know, energetic structure is all being tensed and stretched and connected at the same time. And there's a lot that happens with it. So at the end, there's usually some kind of massage or release with doing the acupressure to, you know, either get the blood moving or the energy moving in the first place, or to get it moving after the fact, after doing the exercises. So say we had just done this, we all got our 25 hits in each side, each bag, we would again grab this. So I'd like to run through this because we have the time, and I think you probably all would like to know it again so that when you do it on your own, it'll be kind of fresh, like, yeah, we did it. And it would be the closing thing you would do after what we had just finished. You would actually have done it this way. You would have finished your last hit. So let me just show you how the set would go. I would start it here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So say that was 10, okay? Then I would do the other side, same way. Not that you would all be sitting in that position like I did, but that's how I would do it. And then that would have been 10 for each hand. I would stand up. I would do the bringing down the heavens 3 times. Once. Second one a little slower, deeper. Third one, turn the head to the left, round the shoulders, pull up the hoi in, squish the diaphragm, the dantian. And then I would, if it was the very end, then I would grab this and do the hand massage. If I still want to do like another set or two, then I would do those other floppy exercises that we were doing. So, everybody good? A lot to go over, right? That's why we got a sheet on it in the booklet. It's a lot. Try to hold it and remember it. I can remember about 90% of the stuff that I teach and pass, but come on, I can't remember it all. So that's why we write it down and make pictures of it. So everybody's got some of this stuff. What's it called? The gel. Do you drink it? No. Do you leave it around anybody? Kids or dogs, cats? No.
Probably don't want to get it in your eyes either, I guess.
Any mucous membranes, keep it away from. Don't drink it. All right, so we got that nice and lubed up. So part of that also makes it a little bit easier for you to do the massage. You can do it without, but it's it's just friction. It's like I'm trying to do the massage. If your hands are very dry, it's just a lot of friction. So that part helps to moisten it to do what we're doing next. So again, we got the clapping. That's about 30. Again, recommended numbers of how many times to do it. Sides of the thumb, from the base knuckle all the way to the tip. You're squeezing the toothpaste out of the tube all the way out, right? So you got to get kind of colorful with the explanations. Okay, you lock it in. Yeah, it's toothpaste. But what flavor toothpaste is it? So about 3 times on that hand, and then 3 times on the other. And yes, right about now, some of you are going, this stuff makes my hands a little sticky. Try to keep it on your hands for about 20 minutes minimum before you wash it off, if you can, because 20 minutes is kind of like enough time for it to sink in and actually do what it's supposed to. You wash it off right away, it just didn't absorb in. Next one would be base knuckle, top and bottom. Squeeze all the way to the tip. And I've noticed it too, the smell does not bother me, but throughout the day, I wash my hands, took a shower, did the whole thing. My wife comes home at 5 o'clock. I work from home, I do these exercises and do other stuff. And she's like, did iron palm today, huh? It's like, oh. It just, the smell, she does not enjoy the smell. So don't be surprised if you have it and someone else notices it before you do. And they're like, it kind of smells,
I smell like a salad.
Yeah, because the apple cider vinegar. Okay, so that's the sides, then the top and the bottom. Next one is the second knuckle, up from the main knuckle. And then when you're doing this also, the key thing that you see after doing it kind of for a month or two, you don't want to have calluses start to develop. I have one callus that's on my ring finger knuckle here, and that's because I'm practicing some other movement that has this type of movement in it. It's like a wrist roller kind of thing. It's, again, that whole body tension thing. You stand and hoist up a weight like a wrist roller, and that has a tendency to give you calluses. So the calluses are just an indication that when you're hitting it, you're probably dragging your hand kind of. You're not hitting direct. You're kind of hitting and dragging.
Creating friction.
Right. So you'll know it after, I've done it 5 times over a month or a week. Your practice with this, I'd say every other day would be okay. Don't do it every day. If you want to do it once a week, that's fine. Once a month is fine. Anything less than that, you're really not getting the benefits of doing it too much. More of this is better, what we're doing. The hitting, though, maybe every other day. If you can, try it for a month and see how you start feeling from doing it. And as always, ask questions. If something doesn't make sense, if I didn't explain something clearly, something I left out, ask, I didn't understand something. Okay? So then we did the second knuckle on each finger, and then the thumb, and then thumb to thumb. So I'm a geometry guy. That was like the thing I do drafting and graphics. So perpendicular is straight this way with a cross. That's perpendicular. So the thumbs, one goes this way, the other goes the other. You dig your thumb in. Most of you that had a question, I did it already. Enough to feel that pinch. Deep breath. And this is a good one for trying to lead your energy to the thumb when you're doing it, because it's pretty, sharp and acute if you do it there. And breathe in and out at that spot, both thumbs. All right? And then we come back to the base knuckle, big circle, front and back. So has anybody found any surprises when they're doing this hand massage? Did some spots pop up that were a little more tender that you didn't realize? So pay attention to that spot, and either find my charts that'll be in the resources thing, or just look it up. Look up hand reflexology chart, and you'll see. There's quite a few of them out there. Just look at the image, and that's the part of my hand that connects to my shoulder, or whatever. So each knuckle, make sure you get the base knuckle of the thumb all the way over here. Use that knuckle if you really want to get some pressure on that one. And then you can also do this like a gift for your significant other. I can give you Jing Well massage if you let me. But the problem is it might be a little bit more intense than what they would like it to be. It's like nice gentle hand massages.
You showed me this one. It was like, that's what it's.
Yes, a nice gentle hand massage pretty much is not in my curriculum for doing this. So. My wife used to like when I gave her back massages and that, and she also did this training for quite a few years before we had children, but it got to the point she just didn't want me to touch, the neck and the shoulder and that. After a second or two, it's like, okay, I got it, feels better, Don't know if it did or not, but because you do start to develop quite a bit of hand strength from doing it. What was your question?
What do the base knuckles represent?
The base knuckles with the Korean system are the joints for the shoulder and the hip. So if your little finger, like here, would be your foot, and then the next knuckle is your ankle, next one is your knee, next one's the hip. So base knuckles could be, with that theory, that system, is your hips and your shoulders. Okay? If you look at the Japanese reflexology chart, which is very common, I'm not exactly sure. That might be getting into the organs, some of the internal parts. Okay? As far as the Jing Well points in the 5 element, that's not part of it really. They go through it, but it isn't that specific spot. So, does that help? So, at the very least, it's your hips and your shoulders. So then, what's the next one after we did that? The middle one, we squish in towards the center. This is a good one also for nausea, because it's your stomach. So say a lot of mine is because I travel and you're in a car and people jerk around kind of and you're driving, you get that, you're always hitting the brakes kind of thing. So you get a little nauseous. So this is the one you do for that. squish in about 3 times or more.
How far do you go? Just to the
To whatever that first line would be. I don't know if that's the lifeline or I don't know. I don't know the lines. That's not my thing. That's about as far as I go. Not to the knuckles. So
to the middle finger, right?
yes. Towards the middle finger. All right, so then we go on to the wringing of the wrist. One is relaxed, the other has tension. That's not yet, but you can do it if you want. You're moving ahead. So, wringing out the wrist. Feel the stretch, feel the separation between the wrist and the forearm, and then the other side. Now we get into the good ones. So, is everybody where they're supposed to be? So, little finger up. Here's the S. Backwards S, right? And pull it back. You got it out there. Now put your thumb by your pinky finger. Your thumb on top. Thumb on top.
Yep.
Fingers underneath. Twist. Pull up. Yes. The wrist, key part, the wrist needs to bend. If you keep it out and you just do this part, that's good if that's what your wrist is able to do because it's painful. And then you can try and bend and pull back. But ideally, if you can, you try to turn it up. And then back.
To the center or chest.
To your chin. And then the fingers go up if you're able to. And then the elbow drops if you're able to. So you notice how I'm presenting this to you in layers so that you decide, you're the volume, and you decide if it's on 0 or if it's 10, and how much you twist with it. So you do both sides, right? You need help getting to the other side. It's thumb down, thumb by your pinky, fingers wrap underneath, twist in, pull in, fingers up if you can, elbow down if you can. So I used to do these exercises and have people come over and twist my arm, and it was like rubber. It just wouldn't do it, it wouldn't go. It's like they just keep twisting. I'm like, because I would relax and just let the body go, and the combination of being relaxed and the strength from doing it, it didn't do anything to hurt me. I haven't tried that demonstration in years. I still practice the same exercise, I just haven't tried it out. So you don't need to, again, just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? I'm not 16 anymore, so 55. So the next one would be here, like that, spiraling this way. The other hand, push it. Wrap with your thumb, pull with your fingers, pull it in. Fingers bend, or not the fingers, the wrist bends, and then you go to the side. Now for some of you getting in this position, you're going to feel it all across your back and neck and shoulders because of this connection on this side. Just doing this is a good exercise. Just that is essentially, the same exercise. But now I'm assisting, twisting it even more. So that connection, that's basically my left wrist, forearm, and shoulder connecting into my neck and back. When I put the other hand on it, now I engage the right shoulder and the right side of my neck and the trapezius, it's all connected. So then the next part I showed you on that one was take your hand and brace your elbow by your lower ribs. And again, pull it in. Try and grab and twist it. Oh, pop. Snap, crackle, pop.
Well, that was you? I thought
It's okay as long as it's not a painful pop. If it hurts and you pop and crackle, then that's usually not good. Oh, that really hurt. No. But if it's just popping, it's the bone moving across. The fascia and the muscle and everything is just moving and adjusting. Okay, so we did those. Then we come back to the fingertips. Ply your fingertips, pop. That one takes a little practice to get where it feels, smooth.
Mental strength too.
There you go.
Like you build up over time.
So the more you do it, there's that strength. So all the way to the thumb, both sides. That's your challenge. And you might need help, or someone to manipulate and put it there. You might need someone to help you pinch it, but that's your challenge, is to find out how to get to be able to do that one exercise so that you can gain the benefits from doing that. Or work on all the other ones. You know what I mean? It's only one of them, but that is a challenge if you want to do it. So, I hope the overall concept, we got to finish up. I hope the overall concept you got from this was that it is about your health and getting the energy moving, and this is just a reflection of what's going on here. Making the hands healthy, being able to do all these things, makes everything else healthy. All right? So we can do the quick wrap with the crab fingers. You can even get silly with it and do one of these things. That's what I show my kids with that. It's like, hey, can you do that? And try that. So, and then we did the claps already. Then the fingertips hitting. Just enough to feel the very tips kind of sting and tingle. And then overlapping palms. So again, to finish it, I would do this 3 times. Bring down the heavens. Once, deep breath. Second one, deeper. Pull up the Hoi Yin, squish the navel. Third one, twist to the left. Shoulders round slightly, and push down. All right? If you have any other questions, stay after whatever, but it's time to finish up. So, all right?